What's the best way to cook a steak? What's it like to start a business during the pandemic? What's the deal with keto? Hi, I'm Dave, and along with my partners from FourFathersFoodCo, we'll host a weekly podcast called Kitchen Mix. Each week, along with some great knowledgeable guests, we'll chat about the topics related to food, small business, nutrition, and many others. At the end of each episode, we'll share a delicious recipe, details to what we drank, and a cool DJ set. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Kitchen Mix podcast, episode 3. We're super pumped. Our special guests are from a Canadian company called Good Pantry Food, and they have an all-natural buttercream frosting. That's what they specialize in. Please welcome on the show the 3 partners of the Good Pantry, Anna, Lucy, and Rose. Welcome, ladies, to the podcast today.
Hello.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, it's Nelson is my co-host here.
I haven't seen them like since freaking Christmas. Just funeral.
Oh, fuck. That's all we have.
Sad.
It's just funerals and weddings.
And then Christmas.
Right. Well, it's your cousins. It is your cousins.
They're my first cousins.
Your first cousins.
First cousins.
First cousins on my dad's side.
There you go.
Yeah.
Joe. Good old Joe.
Good old Joe.
My good old godfather.
Oh, okay. Godfather. Nice. Have you guys ever been on a podcast? Have you done anything video or audio for shows at all?
We've done live. No, we've done live interviews. Mm-hmm. Chocolate show.
You're fucking veterans. You are like expertise on this stuff.
Dragons.
Dragons.
Yeah.
Can I have your autograph?
A little show called The Dragons. Then you guys might have heard of it.
Well, we're going to talk about that because I love that whole aspect of it. It's great to meet you guys, and I think Rose, we met at your place dropping off some product. Nelson and I at your place, and we didn't meet Anna and Lucy. Oh, I didn't meet Anna and Lucy. So just tell us whereabouts. We're going to start with Rose. Rose, whereabouts are you? Like, I know the 3 of you are in different parts of Ontario.
I live in Etobicoke,
okay.
South Central Etobicoke,
okay.
And I guess I speak for the girls. Anna's in Parry Sound, Ontario, and Lucy's in good old Mississauga.
Hey, represent. That's cool. So you have this company, and I love the fact that it is an all-woman entrepreneur, all-woman company. I think that's great because we're talking offline about it, and I like the whole aspect of the podcast, as you said offline, is just for our fans to learn about your company and what it's all about, and how you can how you sharing stories and how you built your business and brand your business. That's what really is all about. It's not about plugging our company. Our sauces are fantastic, but we want to know about your guys, and I think this open concept of podcasts is a great opportunity to share to everybody what it's all about. Tell us how the business all started, how it all evolved.
Well, that basically, really, honestly, started in my kitchen in Parry Sound. I'm the baker of the 3 of us, and I've always, loved to make my own buttercream, make cakes, whatever. And one day I was, when you're a baker and you have to do the buttercream after you've done the cake, you think, oh God, I gotta do that buttercream. It's very messy, and it's not always, you don't always get that right consistency that you want. So as I was making the buttercream, I thought to myself, God, I wish there was something out there that I could buy that was ready to use, all natural. So I started searching in the internet, and I didn't see anything. And I wasn't a big fan of the artificial flavors, the companies that were out there. So I kept searching around. I was so surprised that there was nobody out there making an all natural, shelf stable, ready to spread buttercream frosting. I was with
real butter.
With real butter. I was surprised that I found this gap in the market. Yeah. And that's when that light bulb, actually fireworks went off. And I thought, I think I'm onto something here. So right away I called Rose And because Lucy's worked full time, I can't get a hold of her as easily. So I called Rose and I said, I'm thinking of this. And she goes, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And she goes, we'd have to look into it. Anyhow, from there, I just started doing my own research, and I just started, first of all, making sure that there wasn't another brand out there.
Yeah, right.
And once I was pretty confident of that, I started to look into how do you start a business?
Okay.
And once you start plugging in keywords and things come up and you start seeing, okay, you need to, one thing was, do you manufacture it yourself or do you get a co-packer?
Yeah,
and then actually the Ontario government site takes you there and actually gives you their point of view. And so from there, I thought co-packing was probably the best for us because it's not a huge expense to start.
Right.
So just from there, and then I went into branding. How do you brand? What is branding? So I knew nothing.
Sure.
So I did all that. Once I sort of had a good idea of the basics, I put it together a small little business plan. And so when I saw Rose in the city, I approached Rose with it. And she was pumped, right? She was excited, and we were like, we should really get serious about this. Yeah. So we from there we went to she went to a co-packer first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we went through the co-packers R&D people there.
Yeah.
But that didn't pan out too well because they're not really scientists. They can do very basic stuff, but ours is very sensitive product because it's made with real butter. And we were trying to make this shelf stable. It's not something easily done, and you don't want to muck with that, right? So that's when we went to the food scientists at Guelph. Because we wanted it done right. So we approached them. We told them what we were thinking. We sent them samples. They did a bit of a small little test run, and they said it was doable. They said at least 3 months, 4 months. They were called Guelph Food Technology Center at the time. Now they've become NSF International. So from there, we incorporated. And so the thought came to mind in February. We were incorporated by the end of April. Okay. Once Rose and I just said, we just thought, let's just do it. Let's just do it. We're at an age now, our kids are all grown up. We can do this. Let's just do it, right? So we did, and we hired them. And then shortly after doing that, I think a month or two, Lucy's like, hey, how do I come on board?
I'm like, you're leaving me out?
At this point, right? Lucy's like,
we said, even Steven's here. This is how much we put in. You got to match it up, and we're good to go.
Yeah, and I don't know, Dave, if you mentioned that we're sisters. You did mention that.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. We did.
And so I think it's become pretty evident. But yes, we are sisters.
Okay. So Lucy played the youngest child card. Yes. Like, oh, where can I go?
Well, it was. In all fairness to Anna and myself, Lucy was working full time and very, very, very busy. Yeah. So we started the ball rolling, whether to see if it was viable or not, just the two of us, because our jobs were more flexible. So it allowed us to do that investigating. And I think, Anna, what you forgot to mention, too, was you started playing around with the formula in your kitchen.
So I started researching what ingredients you would need to sort of plug in there to make it a shelf-stable product. So Soy Lecithin was one that popped up several times, and it's very readily available and used a lot now because of so many natural food products out there. So basically what it does, it's a stabilizer. So it keeps, the water and the fats from separating, keeps everything blended in nicely, right? So that when I put that in, the buttercream was, first of all, smoother, and it didn't have that sweating appearance. Like if you let buttercream sit and it's in a warm area, you'll start getting little sometimes little it's wet, like little bubbles of water.
Beans of perspiration.
So I knew I was onto something with that. So when we hired the food scientists, I said, I've used Soy Lecithin, and this is how much I used, and I really liked the effect we got from that. So they probably may have used it on their own without me saying anything, but I suggested that, and they used that, and we have that in our frosting now. So It's been a ride, but that's for sure.
How long has it been now?
Right.
It's been
5 years since we launched. 5 years in April. Well, May. Our first show was May of 2016.
Right. We officially launched May 2016.
Have you constantly been trying to finesse the recipe? Like, do you? Is there always ways of making it? Like, you always say to yourself, "How can I make this more spreadable?" Or
in the beginning, we had the first of all, it was 3.5 months. It was when we first launched out, it was 3.5 months shelf stable. Okay. We decided we were going to go ahead and launch it. As the shelf studies continued, then we would change that shelf life.
Gotcha.
In the next run that we produced.
And we make some adjustments.
And then we would get to a certain point where we couldn't go past, like chocolate, we couldn't go past 4 months. So we had to tweak it.
Right.
And then we had to start the shelf life study again.
Sure. Well, for
So
sure.
it
takes a long time.
It's a long time, and it's nail biting, right? You lose a little bit of sleep, but But we had to do a lot of tweaks in between. Lots of times they were very something simple, and some other times they were a bit complicated. But I would say from start to finish, from the time we started our shelf life studies, it probably took about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Holy crap.
And our products and our vanilla and maple are 8 months shelf stable, and our chocolate is 6. So the 1.5 years is because of all that extra tweaking.
When you're talking about a perishable product, shelf life studies are essential. So what it really means is you create your first batch, you've approved the recipe, it's safe. Now what they do is they take certain containers, put it aside, and sit and wait. So you start at 0, then month 1, then month 2, then month 2. So you can't expedite that. There's no way you can bypass any particular phase or stage. Yeah. So that's where the nail biting comes in, because we take samples at home. Anna stores them. She's checking, but the food scientists are doing the same. And they're exposing it to different elements too, in some cases, different conditions to test, to make sure that nothing will go rancid or there won't be any issues with E. coli, etc. So there's extensive testing. So that's when you decide that you want to extend the shelf life and you need to tweak the recipe, maybe adjust some of the, as Anna talks about, preservatives. And when we use that term preservatives, we're talking natural preservatives. There's nothing artificial in our product. But that requires then starting again at 0, which is why it took 1.5 years, because you got to go back, and now 0, month 1, month 2. So you're sitting there waiting every month, please pass. And people may ask why chocolate is 6. Is because chocolate uses real cocoa. And cocoa itself is just a different ingredient that doesn't have the same shelf life that vanilla or maple will have. And there are products out there that are all natural frostings, but they don't have butter. They don't use real butter. So first of all, you're getting a different taste, and you're using different ingredients, which can extend the shelf life because of that. But real butter, that's the only way to eat buttercream.
Right. That's the only way to eat it. Exactly.
It's got to be real butter.
Oh, yeah.
So she did a fist pump there, too.
She did a fist pump. Yeah. I like it. Rock, paper, scissors?
No, it's just like
until you, there are people who don't know the difference. And that's not to pass judgment or anything, because not everybody has a sweet tooth or knows about sweets. But if you ever have true buttercream and then match it up with any store-bought product, or even things made in grocery store or bakery sections, it is not the same. It's totally, completely different. Anna will vouch for that. It's her recipe. We control the amount of icing sugar, so you control the texture, the consistency there, and the sweetness.
Right. So that's where I want to get to next, is like, each one of you, what is your role in the company? So each one of you, we're going to start with Lucy, because I haven't heard Lucy. Not that I, you guys have been.
They take over. They take over.
I'll just change up a
She's
little bit.
bitter of the fact that she didn't even get asked in the early stages.
So I just want to start with Lucy. So Lucy, tell us. We're going to go through everybody about your role in the company.
Okay. So a number of things. I usually responsible for trade shows. So anything when we do a trade show, anything regarding that. So from the logistics, the booth selection, the inventory, everything we need for that, setting that up. Things are a little bit different now with COVID, but we actually have our first virtual trade show next month. So awesome. That's been a challenge. I've learned a lot by virtual booths. So I do that. I do a lot of the minutes. So I do the minuting for our meetings. I do all of our inventory. So making sure that we have some of the things that the co-packer or manufacturer doesn't order for us, but we have to. So making sure that we've got all that supply on hand. Of course, other duties as assigned. Is that all every job? But we also do visiting of stores. So Rose and I do, I think, probably the majority of that just because of where our stores are located. So it's the stopping in the early days, it was the sampling. It's now just connecting with the managers, promoting the product, pushing the product, just we want to make sure that we're the ones there, right?
Yeah.
And that they see us in our face and get to know us in the stores. So that's kind of one of the big things we do.
You still do that?
We have still, I still not as much, but we have still done that. We definitely did it with rebranding, again, getting in there, making sure the stores, that the information came from the top down to all the individual retailers. So we do a lot of that. And like I said, Rose and I do that together. Inventory pickup, because again, we've got a distributor, but there are times where we have to pick up extra product from our co-packer. So Rose and I kind of share that. Like I said, that and duties as assigned.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's like, we all have, not just one thing we do. It's like, we have to make it work. Doesn't matter what it is, by delivering product to graphics, to whatever it may be. So that's great. And Anna, you are obviously the creator of the recipe, the creator of the buttercream. What else do you normally do on this company?
Yeah, so besides product development, which I've always been really involved with, is I do all the social media. So I created the websites, our first, and then when we rebranded our second one. So, and I manage all of that right now. And I also handle on an administrative side, I handle the POs, the invoicing, accounts receivables, accounts payables,
and get into trouble with Instagram. Yeah.
Yes. But Anne is also very in trouble. Anne's also very involved with, because of the research and development part of it. Also with even our co-packer, our manufacturer. If there's anything we need to do with R&D, that's definitely Anne's role that has continued throughout this.
Nice.
Awesome. Perfect. And Rose?
I handle sales, distribution, and pretty much whatever else needs to be done in a time-sensitive manner.
Right.
I have a lot more flexibility with my time. I think, at the very beginning, as Lucy mentioned, because of where we're located, we did a lot of the sampling. So given that this is also to educate people to some extent, when we started with very few stores, independents, the Cheese Boutique, McEwen's, Pusateri actually came later because that is a bit of a chain. And we use that opportunity to collect customer feedback around the actual product, pricing, and speak to the retailers and just learn more about how the system works and what we can do to improve our product. So from there, we started at one price point. We moved on to another price point as we started to recognize it wasn't the most appealing to our consumers because you have to play around with margins and understand costs and look at volume discounting and everything that you can do to drive down that price. Right. So we obviously, once we were able to do that, we were able to pass that on to our consumers.
Okay.
We did that. Once we did that for approximately, maybe not even quite a year, and then we landed a small chain. And from there, we started growing. And I think, I don't want to jump ahead to some of your questions here, but, we did start off as real layers with very little cash and big ideas and lots of passion. We created our own name. We basically designed the packaging ourselves. We looked online, we checked out grocery stores, and we really looked at the container that we wanted and the overall look of the packaging as what we believed our own consumers would want, because we use frosting. So if you look at our container, it's round, it's shallow, it's not your typical tall container where you got the spoon in and stir and try to scrape from the bottom. That was important to us. And because we were selling a premium product, we decided to go with a sleeve. So we started off as real layers. We hired a really nice guy who did graphics for us, but unfortunately, it wasn't the most attractive at the time. We were pretty happy with it, but we quickly realized it wasn't very eye-catching. So one of our first objectives, I would say within the first year to 2 years, was we've got to change the packaging, not necessarily the container or the sleeve design, but the graphics. And and then so that ended up happening down the road. So one of my other jobs, like Lucy mentioned, is when we rebranded, we had to go to all the stores and actually physically do the exchanging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
like product off shelf, put it in your sleeve.
Ourselves. Because at the time we had, Lucy, maybe at least in the GTA, we had stores out west that we couldn't do that for. We just spoke to them over the phone, but we had, I don't know, maybe 50 stores.
I was going to say about 50 stores. Yeah.
Yeah. And we drove to every single store that we could in the GTA. And there was at least.
Did you drive, Rose, or did Lucy drive?
We both.
Separately.
Cars.
I know why you drive separate than your sister.
You think I'm a bad driver?
You're just doing this whole thing is that you guys were doing all the rebranding and Anne was up in Perry Sound.
Yeah, relaxing.
Yeah, right.
No.
Far from that.
The rebranding itself required so much effort because first of all, we interviewed design companies. We weren't going to make the mistake we made the first time. We went for, the experienced and respected designers. So we interviewed three. The three of us would go to every single meeting, and then we narrowed it down to two, and then we finally picked the one that we wanted to work with. We worked, and I guess we can give him a little plug, Chad Roberts Design on Queen Street East near Parliament.
Chad Roberts Design, yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Great to work with.
Great experience. And they were the ones that convinced us to change our name.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why was that?
And we're
We were going in there with real layers, just different coloring, different design. And he said, look, let's just tear that bandage off right now. You're small enough that you can do it. I think we can find a better name.
Sometimes that's actually good to hear from somebody else different who's in that business to say that. And then you're like, shit, let's.
But it's got to be hard because you're like emotionally attached to it. It's like
You're married to it, right?
It's incredible. It's incredible. It was really hard for us. I know for me and Lucy in particular, Anna was on board fairly quickly. Lucy and I
took a bit of convincing. It took a bit of convincing.
I had to convince these two.
Yeah.
but
we did it, and the best thing we did.
We are a democracy, and no, I'm kidding. We all did. We all did agree.
Yeah,
there was a consensus, and I think it was going through the process of selecting the name, because they didn't just say, "Oh, here's Good Pantry." They went through the whole process of presenting different names with different design options, and then we narrowed that list down, and then we finally settled on Good Pantry. We felt it clearly expressed to our consumers what we were about, and it allowed us to expand product line too under that.
So now.
You're not specific on the product.
Yeah, exactly. Real Layers, talks about specifically baking, and we knew that we wanted to move on beyond just frosting. We wanted to get, we still want to get into cake mixes and cookies and different ideas that we have.
Yeah. So that's good.
That was our little experience, but
competition. Is there another company that has, or another product that's similar to what you have that's on the shelves?
No, there isn't. Nothing. There was one. They're not on the shelf any longer. But there's nothing that's a real butter. We are the only natural made with real butter. There's no competitor. Yeah, all the others are artificial.
Yeah,
and we've looked around. We've looked around the world.
Oh,
but
wow!
We haven't found anybody. There are some that are natural, organic, vegan, but they use palm oil. They don't use butter.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of like, you either get totally artificial or you go completely organic, non-GMO, vegan. There was something in between. And we suspect it was because people were hesitant about how do you make a butter product shelf stable. I think that's right. And that's been one of our biggest challenges. And we encourage anyone who's got an idea out there to, try and stay true to your desires and your passion, because we found it hard for consumers to understand that it was possible. So it wasn't easy to attract them to our product because they didn't get it. They kept thinking it was just another another pardon me. Or they expected it to be in the refrigerated section.
Yeah. Some people still think
get their heads around it, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I think it took us as long as it did to even build up a clientele, is because people just didn't understand. What are you? Right. And changing our name and changing our packaging made a huge difference, because we went from, gourmet buttercream frosting to just buttercream.
Yeah.
Like the focus became buttercream and not frosting, and that came from Chad and his team saying, "What are you trying to convey?"
Yeah. And Good Pantry also, spells it out. It's a pantry product.
Yeah.
It's not a refrigerated product. It's a pantry product. So it really helped. We love the name. We're very happy. Happy with it.
You're actually setting the tone. You're setting the bar up that your product is the only product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to compare with anybody. You're not saying, well, this is this. It's like we're the first company that has a shelf stable real buttercream. Nobody else has it. Yeah. So you set your bar up to like you're on top. Like you're the fucking boss now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how many stores are you currently listed, like number wise, just an average number wise, or maybe you might know how many stores you're listed with?
200.
About 200 stores.
Roughly.
Across Canada, correct? Is this Canadian only?
Canada. Yes.
No, not across Canada. We've moved slowly because we wanted to. We could have expanded a lot quicker, but because we were still moving through shelf studies and, we didn't want to grow too fast at the same time, because that comes more listing fees, a lot more expenses kick in. So we were very careful, and we still are, in our growth.
Now this is all through yourselves, like you're doing it through a distributor?
We go through a distributor.
Okay, yeah. When we started with a very small distributor. Once we stopped doing it ourselves, we hired a local distributor just to handle the GTA.
Okay.
And then we decided to go with a larger national distributor. So when I say we're national, it means that our distributor can sell across the country. We may not be in all retail stores across the country, but the possibility is certainly there. We're predominantly in the GTA, British Columbia, Alberta.
Okay.
That's mostly where we are.
Yeah.
Boils down to the retailer who chooses to carry our product and where they have their locations.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
And
so Farm Boy has locations in Alberta, and therefore they, Ontario, Eastern Ontario. Sorry, I'm getting the Planet Organic. So we've got all parts of Eastern Ontario and Central Ontario with Farm Boy.
Yeah, 200 stores is awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's a big freaking deal.
Now,
we're happy, and we're in Metro Ontario. We're we're in the planogram for Metro. For those of you who don't know what that means that you're officially listed. You have a spot on the shelf.
Same spot all through all stores.
Yeah, every single store has you in the same spot. And then with Sobeys right now, we're sort of whatever store wants to carry us. They're not mandated to carry our products. So
like through the local program or through like just regular.
Well, there's a bit of a debate on that. We think it's local, but we've seen it in other stores. So we're really not sure. And that's one of the things, if you can take anything away from this, is pick your distributor very, very carefully.
Right.
Okay. The added costs, and that's why Anna said we're slow to grow, because if you start selling, the distributor's interest is to just make the commission, the sales rep, that's all they want to do. Repeat orders for them are not always important. It's just get it there first. And, you know, you give them their free fill, which means they get free product, which means you get this wonderful order, you place the order, you have it sent to them through your co-packer distributor, and then you get a bill or you get a payment.
Charge back.
Most of it is charged back to you, right? And you start seeing your profits dwindling. So you've got to be very careful. And there's shrinkage involved, which is when product expires. If it's not sold, you're responsible for buying that back at the retail price, not the wholesale price. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you have to consider, right? So
do you see that free fill like across the board? Like that's terrifying for me.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I can't think of a company that we've done a chain that hasn't had a pre-fill, right, Anna?
Yeah, most of them have asked for a pre-fill. Sometimes some of them will ask for 10 or 20% off the initial order.
Yeah.
But most of them are asking for a free fill. But free fill, but you have to look at it this way, because at first we were always panicking too about these free fills. But if they're only asking for a free fill and they're not asking for a listing fee,
that's a small price to pay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal.
Usually it's per SKU.
Yeah,
so you have 3 flavors.
It's per SKU. Everything's per SKU.
Everything's per SKU. So it's not $1,000 to put all 3 flavors on the shelf.
It's each.
And free
that's small.
One
amount.
case
That's
of each to get it inside.
There's a case of each. Yeah.
Can you negotiate like a volume commitment afterwards, or how does that normally work? What you guys have seen?
No.
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Commitment. Volume commitment. There's no volume commitment after that.
No.
If it sells, it sells, and then they'll order again.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. And as you know, Nelson, you know they're happy to take the product, and we always appreciate that. And to Anna's point, listing fees are always the thing that makes us sort of stop and think about whether we're ready for this or not.
Yeah.
But so many local programs, again, like you guys know, that are out there that allow you to launch your product and not pay the listing fee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And some of them aren't even asking for free fills, depending on the program itself. So you've got to weigh all that and decide what works best for your company. But we heard right at the very beginning, right, that growing too quickly will take a company down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was one of the first warnings we were given. Don't go crazy and start signing up with everybody, because if you go on the shelves and you don't sell, if people aren't coming back and buying and they're not reordering, you'll be gone. Right. And then now there's a blemish on your reputation, and it's hard to get back in.
Yeah, and especially if you've paid a huge listing fee to get on there to begin with. So that's where it could take you down. But, you know, today I find, and even we kind of kicked into that part too when we launched. A lot of big supermarkets chains are having these local programs where they're allowing new brands to come in to give them a head start without the listing fees. So that's out there now.
That's
which is a really good thing. It gets these because they want local brands, and that's to promote the local, right?
And if COVID has done anything,
it's forced local
for the retailers, the manufacturers, is that people are pushing now local products more than ever. We have to keep our economy strong, focus on our economy, stop buying exports, and really just buy local.
Yeah, that's what we're doing too. We're promoting, shop local. We're promoting, where we have our products developed. I mean, it's all local. That's one thing you said, Rose, is the fact that for COVID, for what it is, it's made us realize that we can concentrate on people shopping online, which we'll talk about with your business, and keeping it local. So, and as well as the programs that the grocery stores they're having now, they're having these local manufacturers come on board, and they'll take us under their wing, and it's all about keeping it all local, which it's great. How do you have anybody that you guys were mentored by or this is like all three of you guys come together and just all three expertises and ideas, and because it's easy to create a business, it's easy to create a name. It's difficult to listen. Anybody can start a business up, but it's to maintain it. And you said it right, where it's like you don't want to grow too fast, or else that's it. You're done. Especially the way our economy is now. But Slow and steady wins the race. That's always in my head. But have you guys been mentored by anybody in business?
Lucy, did you want to?
Well, yeah, no, I was going to say we actually have. Well, Anna knows somebody that that has mentored us. But what was a big help for us too was OMAFRA. So we had a contact through Rose. Helped me out with the
Ontario Ministry of
Agriculture and Rural
Food,
Affairs.
Agriculture and Rural Affairs.
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
So some of our opportunities came through them. It was Margaret, somebody there at the location, and she's the one that gave us that opportunity or put our name forward when it came to the Whole Foods, when it came to Metro and having that opportunity to present to Metro for their local program. But some of it was some mentors that we've had kind of along the way that have given us some really good advice, whether it comes to the branding. And it was Gary, and the information about also starting marketing, but staying true, like Rose said, to your dream, but also making those connections. So even when you do go out and you get a distributor and they're doing that still where you can, make the connection with the store. They could do what they need to do to sell the product there, but show your face, get in there, get to know them. And that's what we've been doing this whole time.
Yeah, build a relationship.
Build
with
a relationship.
The managers and that.
Yeah. And I remember Gary, who's our mentor. He's a friend of Anna's who was he president of marketing or for some reason?
He's retired.
He's retired, but he mentored us.
He did something with Smarties. I can't remember now what exactly he did, but he did the marketing for the Blue Smarties, I think it was.
And
years ago.
Yeah, and he was fantastic. We also have friends. So when we first started, I have a very good friend of mine who's an intellectual property lawyer.
Okay.
And she also worked for PepsiCo. She just retired. So she really gave us some guidance around intellectual property and what to do. Mm-hmm. Two close friends who have MBAs, they sat down with us, looked at our pricing, helped us evaluate the company for Dragon Den. There was a whole bunch of different things that we did. So we've had various people, but I think to begin with, I just wanted to take a minute to say when we first started looking for co-packers, because we decided that was the route we were going to go, right? So we had this idea, we spoke to food scientists, now who's going to make it for us? The people along the way that we interviewed for co-packers really taught us a lot.
Yeah.
Because, we went to Bleecker and Sullivan, remember?
Yes.
We started with them, and then we went to Artsy Baker, went to her, and each one that we interviewed was able to give us some guidance.
Yeah.
And really took the time, especially Bleecker and Sullivan. She produces peanut-free, nut-free cupcakes, cookies. You'll see them in the stores, prepackaged in grocery stores. Yeah. You'll see them at Patisseries and places like that. Yeah. And she was amazing. So people, it's a very tight-knit industry, the baking industry, and they really do want to help each other out. They really do. So
I would say to your experience, each one we had was really interesting in terms of stuff we took away from it, in terms of whether it was ideas on packaging. Early stages for us was just really to provide us confidence that we were on the right track as far as the flavor profile. That gave us a lot of confidence in what we were trying to do. And then it was really cool. Like we had two of them that actually recommended the co-packer that we're with right now, who was, a little bit smaller, but really, really a good fit as it relates to fair MOQs, minimum order quantities, people that don't know that. But also somebody who was just genuinely happy to work with us and help us out. So we were really, really lucky. But it was funny, like we didn't know about him. And two other co-packers are like, you should give this guy a call.
Right.
And they're great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, we have the same sort of thing. Yeah. And actually it was our current co-packer that we have right now, the same one we've always had. He's been wonderful. He was at one point when we first had our product out, and it was very 3.5 months shelf life. I remember at one point we were almost thinking about going refrigeration because it would extend the shelf life. And it was our co-packer that says, to go refrigeration, he says it's hard to get space. It would be hard to get listed because there's not very much refrigeration space out there, and the ones that have the space are the big guys. Right. So when he said that went Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Makes sense, yeah.
So we decided, let's just keep going the route we're going.
Good.
We'll
Good.
make it happen.
And have they been able to scale with you guys? Like, have you guys, as you've grown and had more demands on?
Oh yeah, they've been able to scale.
Yes.
What have they done,
Yeah.
like in terms of that? It was just easy for them to scale, or they made changes to their facility or anything?
No,
like
they're
that?
fine right now. Maybe down the road they might have to as we get really huge. That's the plan. But
Yeah. Well, we've spoken to them about automation.
yeah,
That
we've
was
talked
one
about
of the
that.
things we spoke about at the very beginning, and we recently had a meeting with him, and we talked about growth and automating. Because our frosting, Anna knows, uses a hopper and it dispenses it into the container, and then someone has to physically put the lid on and then slide it into the sleeve. So we're looking at some kind of automated process that actually puts the lid on for us and locks it in without having to do it manually. So that will expedite the process, speed it up, and also it's better for quality assurance too. So we're looking into that.
But you don't make Lucy go like as the young one do the lid or like that.
No, she's our baby.
Okay.
I'm the only one that's been swearing.
I know. So Tracy sees my mom today
Oh,
because
boy.
she took them to. Tracy's been helping my parents like go to appointments and stuff like that. And my mom's like, she watched the show last week. She's like, Nelson swears a lot.
So you're trying to like tone it down today.
My mommy.
Mommy.
Trying to be
Right.
good. I'm trying to be good and
All right.
not swear today.
I swear naturally, so that's just the way
I swear a
so.
ton. It's
know.
terrible, but
Oh, you know what?
My day
We
job.
all swear.
Oh my God.
My
Sorry.
my mother heard me for the first time swear. I had turned 50,
Oh my God.
and I don't know
Get
what
out
it
of
was.
town, really?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Oh,
I was at the front door, and something ticked me off, and I didn't know my mom was behind me, and I sort of came back in the house, and I said,
What? Say it.
oh, frig.
off. And I wasn't loud, but I was firm, and she heard me, and she turned around and she said, Rosa Maria.
Oh, whoa.
Never heard those words come out of your mouth. And I was
Yeah,
like,
it's the first time for everything.
I am I'm
That's
50.
Awesome. You're like,
Yeah.
we,
We grew up in a house where the word shit wasn't even spoken.
yeah.
Right.
Like there was none of that. So
So I'm curious, like from a business perspective, like when you guys were talking about like your like growth and changing the brand and stuff like that, what does that like internal dynamic look like? How do you guys kind of push for alignment? Is there one person that drives the agenda? Does Rose ever say the F word? He checks over her shoulder to make sure her mom's not there. And then he says the F word. Like, how does that look like?
Right.
Especially because you guys are in distance too, right?
no, we don't fight, but we
Disagree for sure.
vehemently disagree.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
And surprisingly, and Anna, I know you won't get upset when I say this,
Okay.
but although you may think that I'm the strongest personality, I will tell you, and Lucy will concur, that Anna
Is it stubborn?
Anna will voice her opinion stronger than the two of us put together, Lucy and I.
Yes.
When she
That's
wants
true.
something, it has to be.
But then
And-
we give her a minute.
All right.
Then we give her a
Hold
minute
on
to
a second. But
And she comes around.
I'm usually
Yeah,
right.
where's the popcorn?
Yes.
She comes
Yeah.
and she
Very
comes
often.
around.
And I'm usually right.
Very often she's right, but it's been a great experience.
Yeah.
When we were on Dragon's Den, Michelle, I don't know, she must have mentioned it 10 times. How do you two work together? How do you two work? How do you?
She also has two sisters.
She's like,
I
I
have two sisters. How do you guys do that?
would kill her. And I said, you know what? We don't hold
don't.
grudges.
Yeah. I don't.
We just voice our opinion. Sometimes we're talking over each other and it's getting heated. And then we just stop and go, okay, what's the objective here? Why do you feel the way you feel? We lay it all out and then we just take a vote.
Yeah.
And sometimes the person who's out has to just sort of say, okay, that's democracy.
It's like any partnership. I mean, it's the dynamics, right?
But it works. And
It
it
works, and yeah,
Whatever
there's
works
never
for
any
you.
hard feelings.
No, of course not. I mean, you can't do that. And we haven't yelled at each other yet as four dads. they call me Angry Dave because I get angry and I voice my opinion, but again, the whole dynamics of it is great because everyone has a task and a job and something to do in this company. So we all focus on that, and it works. I mean, sometimes we disagree or we take out too much or we do this, but there's a solution. There's always a solution to make this work. All right. I may not invite him over a few times, but because. But these guys have been great. So I mean, Dino and John, our other partners, they've been fantastic, and our chemistry is great. The whole functionality of our partnership is great. So now I'm excited about the Dragon's Den, the whole situation of the Dragon's Den. How did that come about?
Anna,
I saw it online. Went online, and we have been talking about.
Actually, we have been talking about it.
I've always been a Dragon's Den fan, and I watched it for years. And I certainly never thought when I was watching it that I was going to be on Dragon's Den one day. Just the thought of it made me nervous.
Right.
Just thinking about, just watching people. If it ever came to mind, I'd get nervous just thinking about it. Right.
Yeah. Sure.
But so we have talked about it because we're thinking, we really need a little bit of boost here. Maybe we should do the Dragon's Den thing. And then we didn't talk about it anymore. And then one day I was searching and I went on the CBC, right? CBC
the online
site, and they had auditions are opened. So, and it was a deadline because I think it was just near the end of auditions. Mm-hmm. It was like early April, and I think auditions were over at the end of April. So I reached out to Rose and Lucy. I said, as much as I don't want to do this, I said, I think we should really do it. I'm scared to death, but I think we should at least apply and go from there.
Right.
So we did, and right away they give you you get a date. I can't remember now if it was a week, 2 weeks later. Got an email with a date for auditioning because you go to audition doesn't guarantee taping or anything like that. Right, okay. So we went for audition, which was nerve-wracking, but in the end it was pretty cool. Yeah. Right. You just go to where's it located?
Lucy, on John Street. Yeah.
Yeah, on John Street, CBC building. So you're basically there, that's that inside part there where they got the TVs and they've got the stage there. So it's basically there. You've got, 100 people there, tables lined up. They group you in groups of 5. And then, here you go. And you got, was it a minute? I think we had a minute or something like that.
I think it was 2 minutes.
To pitch it.
2 minutes.
And we had to pitch as if we were pitching to the Dragons. Okay. And they asked us a couple of questions and then it's like, okay, bye, thank you. And off we went and kind of waited to see.
Who are you pitching to, like the producers or?
It was a couple of the producers. Okay. Yeah, so they had, I think, 3 or 4 tables with two per table. So they had them going through fairly quickly.
Right.
Yeah. So that was nerve-wracking.
So you have to come prepared with your stuff because you're going to set up a little display. And then you're going to do your pitch as if you're pitching to the Dragons.
And then there's like 100 other people all nervous, sweating.
Yeah, waiting in the background, waiting for their turn to be called up.
Yeah. So, I do want to say, though, when we got there, we saw the stage and we're thinking, oh my gosh, we have to pitch on the stage in front of everybody. Yeah. We can't do
like in front of everybody else.
That wasn't the case. So
it was very nice slow transition into the whole experience, right? Because we started off just a little table. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
So if you go to the CBC studios, there's this huge atrium, and there's a stage in the middle with all these TVs up, and they're pumping out CBC programming.
Right.
And so you wait in this atrium, and like Lucy said, they break you up into several groups. And then at the back of the atrium, there are several tables set up. Each table has 2 producers with their laptops. So you're pitching, and they're not even really looking at you. They're typing. What are you saying? Blah, 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 blah.
And like no reaction.
Not much.
No, not really. You're not getting any eye contact.
Yeah.
There's
they're writing notes
set up. So the 3 of us are pitching here, and then maybe 10 feet away, there's another table with another group pitching. Okay. And you're all pitching at the same time, but you can't hear each other because it's a fairly large room.
Yeah.
But like Anna said, when we first got there, we saw this stage. We're like, oh, it's not quite a stage, it's like a platform more than anything else. Like
with the Dragon's Den sign, the logo, everything. It's all dressed up, right? Getting you all
and there's all
up.
these people there, and you're looking at their products, and some of them seem so organized and so ready to go and youthful. And we're standing there, we're like, okay, we're 50 plus. What are we doing here? I don't think he's 50 yet. Are
you dropping off your kids?
There was a group of children from school. There was like 10 kids who had come up with some environmental water or rainwater collection system or something, and we were just like, oh Jesus. We just about died. And then we did our thing, and we went home, and then we waited for the phone call.
It happened fairly quickly, because I believe we auditioned beginning of April or so. And for some reason, we thought taping, even if we made it, was going to be later. We got a call, and I think it was within 10 days we were taping the show. Yeah. It was like, what? They're like, yeah, you guys made it on. You're taping. It was May the 8th. Awesome. So we didn't have much time which was probably a good thing, right? That you didn't have a lot of time to think about it.
This is when we started freaking out. Right?
That's when we started panicking.
This is where the freak out happens.
Now, had you guys already kind of built your whole pitch and everything was done for the audition, right? Or did you refine it after?
No, you had to refine it.
No. For first audition, it was just us, and then after, when we actually made it to tape, then it had to be 90 seconds. Couldn't be more than that. We actually pitched it to the producer. We everybody gets assigned a producer.
Okay.
So then you work with that producer and you go through your pitch, and then they're like, okay, put this here instead, or move that, or and they do say 90 seconds. More than that, you're going to lose them. Yeah. So don't go over that, right? Because then they'll start to interject. They'll start asking questions. They'll throw you off your pitch. Yeah. So that was once we knew we were actually going to audition. Mm-hmm. But so we didn't have a lot of time, but we, obviously we had to come together, and we had to, fine tune our pitch and work through that. And we actually then had a little session at my house with the kids as, the audio, or the dragons for us, and the husbands, as we came down the stairs and tried to do it from, I think it was about 100 takes we had to do. It was like take 11, because we kept either laughing or
it was.
Let's not forget all the questions we got to prepare for.
Yeah.
You have to prepare for a list of questions so that they give you a guide of all possible questions that might be thrown at you, and more we come up with on our own based on the product. So we did our homework. I mean, you can't go in there not knowing your stuff. So it took a couple of weeks of just going through questions and making sure we've got every possible question they're going to ask, know the answer, know our numbers, know all that. So it really blows my mind when I see people on Dragons that don't know those things. Yeah. Don't know the numbers. I think, didn't you read the guide?
And what's important too is we also structured it that we knew who would answer what.
Yeah, of course.
Because we didn't want to be there in front of them and then look at each other. It's like, okay, well, who's going to take this one? Yeah. So we went down right to that, like color coded, these questions. Lucy answers. If they throw this at us, Anna answers, and so forth. So we did a lot of work. We did a lot of homework and a lot of long hours.
When you, sorry, go ahead, Rose. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say that the date that we taped was a crazy day, because we had decided on how we were going to present and what sort of tools that we would have there for the presentation. And then like 20 minutes before we went to tape, the producer comes up and goes, no, we're changing it. We're going to have you with this table, with a mixer, with this. And we're like, what?
And she goes, and Anna, you're going to do a demo with Vincenzo. I went, what? I've got my whole thing is in my head. I see this is how it's going down. Now I got to go this way.
Do they do that on purpose or what? Do they do this to throw you guys off? Like,
no, they're really
they do it. They're really
But they're also it's a great TV show, right? So they're also trying to create a bit of
absolutely,
and that's fine. But we had been talking about it for 2 weeks, and
I could say it. We knew the pitch in our sleep. Then they get there and it's like, no, Anne, you're going to speak first.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I'm not the one that talks first, right? So it's how they changed it up the last minute.
We obviously complied.
Yeah.
Was that kind of aired as well?
I'm sorry?
It's Guzzo is the guy that you did the sampling with, right? Or the
yes,
yeah. But he didn't. So how did it kind of flow, like the actual show itself? I'm just trying to remember, like from seeing it.
Okay, so I got to tell you this story because it was hilarious. So this studio is, I think it was on the 10th floor or whatever it was. I can't remember it, but it's massive and it's like 2-story high ceilings, and everybody's out there waiting their turn. And there's like a massive door, looks like a warehouse door, a garage door that opens up, and you go into the studio. But the studio has this makeshift set of stairs with a platform. So you
know
wait.
Those stairs you come down after?
Yeah.
So you're really on their level. You go up to come back down.
You go up,
Okay.
but it's all behind. It's all behind a screen. So you're waiting to come on. So they do a little bit of makeup and then blah blah blah.
Rose, let's go back a little bit. Let's really get them to get a feel of what really happens, because
this one, I think.
before we
I gotta go to the washroom. Am I the only one drinking? Because I don't see anybody else.
No, are you kidding me? We're drinking.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the washroom.
Or another beer.
For sure. Thanks, buddy.
Are we going overtime?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We talk a lot.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is great. You guys have been fantastic.
Thank you.
It's just, you know what, honestly, the whole story, the whole sharing of it, learning about it, what you guys are doing, but also the Dragon's Den, the whole thing about the Dragon's Den, that adds excitement to our conversation, because everyone wants to know, how the hell does this, how do they get on it?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, like, what were when you went on and you decided to go on, like, what was your ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal was to...
Was it like
to get our name out there, obviously, number one.
Yeah.
If we got a dragon, we'd be really happy.
Yeah.
But if we didn't get a dragon, we just really wanted them to like the product and not beat us up.
Yeah.
That was our ultimate. We said, we'd love to have a deal, but if we go there and they all say they like it, and that's good enough for us. That was good enough for us, right? Just get our name out there, and have them all say that they like it on national television. And when you're there too at the Dragon's Den, and you're getting ready, but there's all these other things going on. Like you walk in and you're going to be probably taping or seeing them in 2 or 3 hours, but you're being interviewed for Indeed. Remember that little interview we pulled to the side? And then they pull you to it. And then they pull you to another corner and they want us to do another little hurrah. And then they start asking all these questions. So one of them was, I guess, what dragon would you like, or who would you like to sign with if you had an opportunity to? And I think us, it was more, we didn't really know Vincenzo or Lane because they were both new to the show. That was the first year for them, actually. Yeah. I did a little bit of research before, right? Like, what do they like? Right. But we had just had, from watching Dragon's Den, we were Anne and I, because I don't think Anne and I watched it more, a little bit more nervous.
I wanted Arlene.
Because we've seen other shows, and she could be a little tough. She could be a little tough.
Like, Arlene's a branding machine, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's her.
So my thought was always Arlene. She'd be awesome if they could get her, because she was what we needed at the time, right? So, and like Vincenzo, we didn't really know him either, right? Like Lane.
No, like I said, no, I just did a little bit of research of him and Lane, and but we liked Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew
Michelle. Yeah, we knew Michelle was tech, and so was Lane. So we didn't really, we knew they weren't our fit.
Yeah, where was Lane from? Like, what's Lane's kind of?
He started the Penguin Club.
Club Penguin.
Oh, like
Club Penguin. Yeah, really? He's the one that sold it for $700 million to
just 700.
Disney.
Wow.
To Disney. Yeah.
So he's a tech guy too, right?
Yeah, Michelle's tech and kind of all.
He has an education background. I think his parents were teachers, and so he started Club Penguin as a teaching tool for children, and then it just took off. And I think Lucy wasn't exaggerating too much. I think he sold it for over $300 million.
No, I think I actually was just reading it the other day because he sold something else for 20 some odd million.
Yeah.
And I thought it said $700 million. I could be.
Oh, it could have been. I could
But yeah, but our big thing, we kept saying that to each other, we're okay if we don't get a deal as long as they like our product.
Yeah.
That was important to us.
So like validation.
Just validate. Absolutely.
Right.
So that was really that would have been a bonus, right? If
Like,
so we went into it.
Yeah. And logically, the validation helps you from an advertising perspective.
Of course,
because if they love it, then the audience is going to love it. The viewers are going to love it. And
yeah, for sure. And when you're pitching it to them, do they do they know about your product? What you guys are coming into? They know nothing about your product.
Nothing.
But
They weren't, educated.
No. So even when you go in, your product is covered.
Okay.
And because they end up changing things up, and we had our display, with all the different ways you could use the product. Right. And when we come in, that's covered because the producer did say they didn't want them to have any opportunity to go on their phone and try to Google, the company or any of that. They really have no idea until you start talking, and then you pull away the curtain or whatever it is.
Yeah, which is kind
of what you see is real.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no stopping the cameras. There's none of that. No. What you're seeing is real. They do a lot of editing, and they may take things out of context a little bit.
Yeah, right.
But there's like I said, there's not like they stop the camera and say, "Okay, the dragons have to say something else." Nothing like that happens.
Right. And how about the banter back and forth? Does that happen like in real life? Like, I mean,
between the dragons.
Between the dragons.
Yeah. Talking,
that's
saying
all real.
amongst each other. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah, we should probably tell you that we were there for a good 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they aired 7.
Yeah.
That's how long it is. Your pitch is a minute and a half, but then the other 30 was just them. In the beginning was getting to know us, asking questions about us, and being sisters, and how they were great. I think when you watch the episode, and it looks a little that must have been really intimidating. And I'd say probably 30 seconds in, once you've done your pitch, you really start to get comfortable because they really made you feel comfortable.
Yeah, and they come down off their platform. Like they come down and talk to you in person and try the product and mingle with you.
But that's not, you don't see that on camera.
You don't see that. You just saw the Vincenzo because he tried decorating the cupcake, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you don't see that because you guys, they didn't air that part. They didn't. Well, we had it in a short tape that they had on Instagram. They did it on their social media. They showed that. Yeah. But when they did the actual airing, because we had a family special and we had the kids in the back, it was hogging up time, so they didn't add that part in, which is sad because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Because they did. I remember seeing that trailer, and then when I saw the episode, I couldn't piece it together.
Where did that go?
Yeah, exactly. I was so surprised. I went, "Oh my god, they took one of the best." Out.
And what they did too is they changed the order in which the comments were given and the offers were made.
Okay.
So they add suspense, so you feel like you didn't get an offer at all until the end.
Right at the end, and that wasn't the case at all.
Okay.
We got an offer right at the beginning from Vincenzo, and then a no, and then Manjeet. I'm trying to remember.
That's correct. Yeah.
I'm not sure how it worked out, but they changed the order. It's all for entertainment.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you said this to Anna, but one of the things I want to talk about is before we went up those stairs. So you come into that room, you're going up those stairs, and the producer's at the top of the stairs. It's like a little landing, and then there's another one down at the bottom, and you get ready to go. And Lucy had a tray. We were each carrying something. So Lucy had a tray with some plates, samples with little spoons. Anna was carrying a tray with, I don't know what it was, strawberry
bags. No, the piping bags, I think.
Whatever it was, and I had something else. So we come up the steps. And we're on the platform, and I'm going first. And I hear this rattling sound. I look behind me, and Lucy's tray is going like this. Like shaking.
I was shaking.
So much. Her tray was like, I could hear the plates rattling.
I was so nervous. I said to them, I think I'm going to throw up. I was so nervous.
And the producer has the door, and what they say to use is a screen so they can see your silhouette.
Yeah.
As you're coming along the platform and then down the steps. So she says, walk along this wall, follow this line, and then go down the stairs. So when she starts counting down from, I don't know, 5, 4, whatever.
Yeah, I think it was good.
I remember thinking, if there was a hole right now, I would just drop into it because I am so scared.
Yeah, me too.
And I was very scared.
And then, you know, this sounds like such a, you know, eldest child reaction, but my first thought was, this is an opportunity. There are people in this world suffering right now.
Oh, yeah.
Whose lives are destroyed for whatever reason, and I'm given this opportunity.
Right.
You know,
dragons then, for Christ's sake.
Fuck.
Yeah, I said, as long as I don't fall down the stairs, I'm good. And we purposely wore platform shoes so we would not.
Right.
You just turn around to Lucy and say, "Suck it up." You shit together, Lucy.
No, she didn't actually. She was good, but it was funny but you know, that was how we were feeling before, and as soon as, you know, she pulled that door open or that curtain, it was just like, that's it. You know, it's on. So
we have no turning back.
Roll, right?
That's it. It was different. Then you get down there, you do our pitch, and then it was just
you guys look
very
super
comfortable.
Yeah,
and so they actually made the deal before, right in the beginning.
That's right at the end.
We do right at the end. It's just that it was not in the order that it was.
Yeah. Right.
Presented.
Yeah.
But
then,
So walk us through how the deal kind of played out, because you had 2 deals to consider.
And I'm trying to remember now. I got to jog my memory too.
Vincenzo was first. He goes, "I'm going to start the ball rolling, and I know this is going to sound awfully aggressive, but I'm going to offer you
greedy." Is what he said.
Huh?
He said greedy.
He said,
"I'm going to be greedy."
Be greedy, and I'm going to offer you the 50,000. We were asking for 45 for 20%.
Yeah,
but I want 50%, and we were like,
no, he wanted 40%.
Oh, see, I can't remember. I have to watch it again.
I like this. I love the band. The argument.
They're arguing now.
No, we're just, you know.
When you guys are now settled in, you guys are still building your business. You're active, you know, you're getting involved in social media, online e-com. Your website is pretty cool. It's pretty straightforward. I like it. It's like it's pretty engaging. The fact that, you know, you're telling about your product, about you, where to buy, simple, done. Great. Are you guys looking to increase e-com business or increase social media presence?
It was a learning curve for me, because I've never had an Instagram page or anything like that. So we did it just because we wanted to build brand awareness. And that was the cheapest, easiest way to approach. Right. So we started doing that. But as time has gone, I've done a lot of paid promotions through Facebook and Instagram. And that is huge for products. Is paid promotions. And then once you're on the social media, you get a lot of bloggers that start reaching out to you. Yeah. And they want to promote your products. So that is a huge thing too. So, and it's important, you know, it could cost you anywhere from $50 to $1,000, depending on the blogger and how many followers they have, right?
Right.
So it's a great way to get brand awareness, an inexpensive way. Because you can do, Facebook and Instagram, you can do a paid promotion, $30 to run 7 days. That's nothing. Yeah. That's nothing. And you can get a reach of about, 5,000 to 6,000 people.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that? Right.
Yeah. And just in terms of reaching the largest number of people, in the early days, we really did a lot of sampling.
Yeah.
Sampling cost us money too.
Yeah.
We were paying $100 per store per sampling day.
Driving out there. I was coming from up here.
Spending 2-3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, and you're hitting maybe, 40, 50 people at the most.
And they may not even be your target market.
Yeah. It might not be your target market. Okay. And we also did trade shows, which were running us $2,000 to $3,000. And what we found at a lot of these trade shows is that you're really just there. And other people are approaching you to sell you their stuff, right? So you've got your booth, and you've got the marketing guy coming up to you. You've got the sales guy, you've got, the distribution broker coming up to you. They're all coming up to you trying to sell you, and you're there trying to sell your product. So we learned that fairly quickly. I think we did 1 or 2 trade shows. Then we did more public
Consumer shows.
Yeah.
Consumer shows.
Okay.
And we found those were successful, but you have to be very careful about the ones you pick, because some of them, all people want are freebies. They just want to go around, and get their little goodie bag and
Right.
which is fine. That's what they're for. We understand that. But if your objective is to reach as many people as possible, that's not the most effective way. Not cost effective anyway. So social media became, that really worked for us. And BBC, when we took out our loan, we hired a consultant to help us sort of map out our business plan for the next year. And one of the things that she did was reinforce the idea that, don't spend your time with trade shows. Get out there and just do social media. The money that you're investing in trade shows and in consumer shows and sampling, you can take that and get so much more with your money.
I agree.
It was a return on investment.
We have a pretty good idea of that already ourselves.
Yeah. And one thing she taught us too is don't be apologetic about your product. Don't apologize that it's got sugar in it. Don't apologize that it's got butter. Talk to your product for what it is.
Yeah.
It is decadent and it's to be eaten in moderation. And don't, try and just sell them on all the other different uses, which is what we do that as well, because it is a spread. You can use it on so many different things. Yeah. But don't forget the fact that people love to decorate their cupcakes and people love to decorate their cakes. Yeah. And that's what frosting is about. So that really gave us a different perspective, spending time with her and just discussing what our objective was and what our product means to us and to our consumers. So right.
We talk about social media a lot. Every meeting we talk about brand awareness and just finding ways of improving our brand moving forward. And the paid promotions, the whether we go TikTok, whether we go with stories and reels, there's so many fucking ways of yourself on social media that we're still trying to refine it in a simplicity way of making it just like an easy routine, a good template to use. But we're still trying to build that all up, and it's tough because we're social outside our business. I'm social with my DJ business, with his cooking side of things. So we always try to learn from each other of how do we brand it, like the camera, the pictures, and this and that. We try to apply it and we combine it, try to apply it to our side of it. So yeah, I totally agree. Social media is, it's cheaper, the cheapest way of branding your product. Trade shows, we just did a virtual show last weekend. Fuck, was awesome. Loved it. It didn't cost us a lot of money, but the social media side is great for, just sharing your whole business globally, or just nationally, wherever it may be.
Yeah, that's the great part of it, is that you can actually pick your demographics, right? Yeah. You can narrow right down to the type of person that's going to buy your product. It's fantastic. Right. And with Instagram, it's more millennials. Yeah. Where Facebook is, you're looking at 40 and up, right? So I promote on both because I'm hitting all those. All ages, because our demographic, our age group runs from around 25 to about 60, 55, 60. Right.
You mentioned millennials because the product is you're promoting easy, efficient baking,
convenient, and that's they're all about.
And that's what they're all about. They want to buy things that they can just open it and just use it,
but high quality.
I was going to say high quality, good
they
products.
Want it all natural, exactly.
Yeah.
They want it all natural.
But they also want to give you the illusion that they prepared it themselves. So there's that component too, right? So I'm going to make a beautiful cake and I'm going to take it to whatever event once COVID is over. But I'm going to bring this and it's going to taste like homemade.
Right.
And I did make it in my kitchen, but I had help. And that's why our tagline is making homemade easy, because it's not about, starting from scratch to do everything. You can still participate in the baking experience without having to put all that effort in.
Yeah.
But you're still getting the quality that you're looking for.
I'd like to know what flavors you have first available right now? So you have chocolate,
vanilla, and maple.
vanilla and maple. Okay.
Maple, yeah.
Now you are.
And we're looking at other flavors. Not sure we can talk about that yet. Unfortunately,
top secret.
Do you take a poll like with your fans? Do you do like a little?
Yeah, I just did one recently, actually, before I was disabled. Damn. But I did do a poll, and I had all
on Instagram.
Ideas. So we definitely took those and have considered them. So so we got. We're looking at new flavors. We're looking at different products and everything. Hopefully, if everything goes smoothly, we're looking in the fall. All this happening.
I love
right,
it.
Ladies?
Love it.
We're so excited because we've always had 3 flavors. That's it. I'm so tired of just
and now it's like, woo!
But it's easy to manage. It's easy to manage the 3 flavors, but it's also
3 SKUs is a lot cheaper.
Right? But it's also exciting to come up with something different,
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're excited. We're very excited. So hopefully the plan is in the fall.
Yeah, and we're looking at other opportunities, We can't really say too much right now.
I don't want to.
We've got lots on
the go.
Rolling right now, right?
I was going to ask about somebody that keeps reposting your stuff, but I don't think I can ask that, right? Or can I?
What do you mean by
I know what you want to ask.
I know. And that's why we're going to say stay tuned for some exciting news.
You can swear to me in Portuguese. They won't understand.
I don't understand. I could say something.
There's stuff going on. There's always opportunities, and we're super, super excited about the next phase of our business.
Good.
Yeah, there's going to be sufficient growth. And if anyone from the U.S. is listening to this, participating in this,
ask for our product.
That's our plan. Next 12 to 18 months, we're going to hit the U.S. market. Yeah. So
we do have listeners in the U.S. We have actually my wife's side. She's got a lot of Portuguese in Connecticut and Massachusetts areas.
Rhode Island,
Cape Cod.
Right.
New Bedford.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a bunch that tune into our shows and they love the whole concept of it. What are you guys drinking tonight? What are you drinking?
Oh, my traditional Pinot Grigio, Jackson Triggs.
Okay. All right.
My reliable Ontario vineyards.
Yes.
Niagara, local.
Awesome.
I should have done local. I do. See, well, today I'm drinking Italian, also a Pinot, but I like to try different ones. Like I'll go with 1 or 2 that I know, and then I always bring a few bottles home of something I've never tried before. But I do really support local as well.
I'm drinking Chardonnay. Love Chardonnay.
From where?
I drink Pinot too, but Chardonnay, I like it's full body. I like that.
Okay. So that's good.
What are you guys drinking?
Tonight we have like a good full body red wine. I have a
red too.
Nelson's like, hey, let's change up a little bit. So tonight we're drinking craft beer, so it's local. It's Ottawa Valley.
Yeah.
Whitewater. I'm going to give a big shout out.
They make a great product.
So this is great. So this is a Blue Moon. This one is a blood orange sour beer.
Ooh.
Awesome.
I think I would like that one.
And I've already pounded it back. So now I've got the Wild Bog, the cranberry.
You're holding that really far from your face.
I can't see it, bro.
Here, I'll take it.
Your arm has to be longer.
It's Dave's birthday yesterday.
It was my birthday. So
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And I'm having Flying Monkeys. They have Flying Monkeys and Berry. They make some fantastic beer, and the labels are bananas in terms of the creativity on it. So this is a really nice hazy IPA, like New England style IPA. But my favorite, which is what I had first. So, Mom, if you're listening, I had 2 beers today. It's not a big deal. I didn't swear, though. I didn't swear. This is like by far my favorite beer right now, which is an Imperial Stout from Wellington in Guelph. They make fantastic friggin' products.
Right.
So if they want to send some products our way,
I'm going to reach out to them if they'd love to send product. We'd be happy to try it out again and sample it. But
I did a little project with them last year, which was kind of cool,
Right.
like a little cooking project with Wellington, which was kind of fun. So they support local. They supported some dumb Portuguese kid that had
I did want to put a little plug in for another local brewery, and right from your old neighborhood, Nelson, High Park Brewery. I think they have a restaurant or brewery right by your old neighborhood. A friend of ours is one of the owners, and the beer is amazing. High Park
it sounds
Brewery.
like that you're going to get us some beer from him.
I think so.
Sure.
So.
That's
We
what
can get that for your podcast.
I heard a sponsorship. I will
do that. And another tip.
Okay.
When we first started, Anna, or was it? I can't recall if it was Anna or me that read an article about barefoot wines from California.
Yeah.
So,
yes, I think it was Anna.
I think it was Anna. It was an article about how when Barefoot Wine started, they didn't have much money for marketing.
Yes.
Somebody had approached them about donating funds towards some charity. And they said, listen, we don't have money, but we have product.
Yeah.
So they donated a bunch of wine and they saw their sales increasing. So that's one of the things we've been doing is we want to help the community. And at the same time, if you donate the product, it gives you exposure.
Yeah.
And more consumers.
For sure.
The product in the hands of more consumers.
Put it in more hands, right?
Yeah, and that's what you want. So every opportunity you have, if you have, leftover product, in our case, ours is perishable.
Yeah.
So we always, after every run, we always put aside a certain amount of product, and I keep it at home, and we use it for things like that.
Awesome.
We use it for bloggers and
you're going to need that for bloggers and that.
Yeah. And another tip is that Anna's discovered is instead of hiring a blogger, she's hired a photographer.
Okay.
Who takes a whole bunch of pictures in different scenarios. Like she'll do simple things, like she's not creating a baked product. She's just got the product there with a muffin or what have you. And she'll do a series of photos, and then Anna takes those photos and uses them for Instagram. Yeah. So there's a lot of variety.
Tonight, you're going to offer or give away a free prize pack tonight.
Yes.
And which is a baking basket, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So we're going to give away. I'm going to give away after this podcast a good pantry food basket, baking basket that's going to have all the 3 items in it, plus some baking utensils and things, and a cookbook. You were saying?
Yeah, probably a decorating.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Different ideas.
Yeah,
so it'll be within the baking theme. It'll definitely be within the baking theme.
Perfect, and it's all about the easy, efficient baking, and
it tastes really good.
I'm sure. I mean, I haven't had it yet, but we're gonna try it.
Anybody who does use our product, if it's getting close to expiration, put it in the fridge, and it'll give you another couple of months.
There you go.
Okay.
Or freeze it. There's so many things you can do with it.
What's the craziest thing people have used that for? Have they told you? But like, not in anything sexual. But I mean, like,
no.
Crazy. You should hear all the comments we used to get when we were called real layers.
Yeah.
Man, we got all kinds of smart remarks.
Crazy? I don't think crazy. Very innovative, actually, but not crazy. I don't think.
Most innovative.
What's the most innovative?
I don't know. I can't think of anything offhand that's
like on a toast.
Besides toast.
Yeah.
One girl said to me, she goes, "Oh yeah, I love your maple." She goes, "I spread it on toast every morning."
Pancakes.
Wow.
Which why wouldn't you? Like if you think about it, it's got butter. You put butter on your toast. People put jam on their toast. It's no different, right? So you're getting the maple, and it's actually very good. I have done it too. I've done it many times.
I think the most I think original and one of the very first things you started doing, Anna, was the bacon maple.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what I did one time?
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese.
Ooh,
okay.
I did grilled cheese. So what I did was
sweet and savory.
I put the maple on both sides of the bread, on the inside. But next time I'll do it on the outside. It'll probably even be better because it'll make it crunchy, kind of crystallized, right? But I did it in the inside with grilled with cheese and bacon, and it was so good. You got a little bit of that salt, sweet and salty.
Yeah,
it was very good. And my next attempt, and which I haven't done, and I keep saying I'm going to try, is doing a spicy pizza with maple.
Well, what's interesting, you just got our friggin' products today. And I'm pretty sure we sell hot sauces.
Oh.
Hello.
Of course. And you know what? When I do that, I have to post on
Should have had a V8.
I like it.
Yeah. And the other one was a cake pop. Right?
Yeah,
yes.
For cake pops.
Oh,
and
s'mores.
Rose, you do
I've
your
done s'mores
popcorn.
many times.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I do the chocolate.
One of my biggest successes has been maple popcorn.
Oh, right.
Really?
So I posted it this year, but for the last 2 Christmases, because I live on a fairly small street, so there's not a lot of houses. We know pretty much everyone on our street. So everyone exchanges, little Christmas treats. So 2 years ago, I did maple popcorn. I took popped popcorn, movie style, so you can do Orville Redenbacher's or no name, whatever you want. And then I just mixed it with maple frosting and put it in the oven. And oh my God, I tested it first because I wasn't sure if it would get soggy over time.
Right.
But I put it in a Ziploc bag and left it there for a few days and tried it. It was still crunchy and crispy and flavorful. And that's what I do now. I do little treat bags. I put a nice Christmas ribbon on it, and
do it with nuts too, roasted nuts.
Yeah, I also throw in pecans, almonds, whatever you want, just to.
Don't you have? You should be putting this up on your website.
We do.
All that what you were talking about, just
the maple one, not necessarily. It's on Instagram though.
I put it on Instagram. I posted the popcorn.
Perfect. The roasted nuts one you did.
Yeah.
I like the ideas of that of using of like posting other people's ways of using your product. So like have a little like almost like an offside section about what they would use it on, not on other, but on food wise, right? And I think it'd be kind of cool, but
we had 2 little boys recently review our product. I don't know if you saw that, Nelson.
Yeah,
from Montreal,
out of Quebec. And they were making cookie sandwiches, for them it was
10 layers.
Oh, man.
Stackable cookies. It was like cookie and then maple and then a cookie and then
They did such a great job. We had to send them a care package.
Yeah. I put together this really cool package for them with the maple popcorn and gave them cookies to decorate. I got shortbread cookies and sent them sprinkles and just the whole thing, and they were so thrilled. Adorable boys.
So their family bought it, they posted it, and then you guys reach out. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, actually, the mother homeschools them.
Okay.
And one of the school projects was to review different products.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I don't know how they did on the project itself and what their grade was.
We'd give them an A+.
Yeah, let's hope they pass it. Yeah, let's hope they pass. Their mom.
Mom was great. There's a good chance.
Oh yeah. So like I said, the prize pack that we're going to give away tonight from Good Pantry, which I'll give away at the end of this podcast at the beginning of my music set. You got to follow us on Instagram. You must like the post that's the giveaway post, and you're going to have to tag a friend. So it already has been blowing up, but there's people on there tagging everybody on there, which is great. You can only do it on Instagram. You can't do it on Facebook or Twitter.
And then you're going to pick?
And then I'm going to pick it out after during the music.
And tag as many friends as you want.
Absolutely. I hope you guys get your Instagram account back.
Yeah, those of you who weren't privy to the pre-taping conversation, we had issues with our Instagram. So look for Good Pantry over the next couple of days. Maybe we'll do a big announcement. I don't know how we reach out to people.
Can they reach you another way of? Can they reach you other way?
Our website. They can go on our website and our Facebook page.
Yeah, our Facebook page.
Yeah, our Facebook is there. Good Pantry.
So at Good Pantry Food.
Yeah, it's been a ride, and we can't end this without thanking our families, our husbands, our kids, our parents cheering us on, picking up product for us,
right?
Dropping off product for us. David even did some sampling in the early days, and Emma, and Jillian, and Kaylin. So everybody's taken part in this, and it's really we couldn't have done it without the support and our extended family too. Of course, Nelson, Truth, you guys have been big supporters. And
listen, I appreciate you guys coming into the studio and virtually, and it was a blast. I mean, obviously, the connection family-wise with Nelson and yourselves. I mean, it's great. It eases any nervousness. It's always a good conversation. And you guys are professionals now, anyways, at this. So it was easy for you guys to talk.
They're on Dragon's Den.
I know.
We're a bunch of monkeys in your basement. Okay.
We're just we're a bunch of idiots here right now.
It's like Wayne's World, basically.
It's like Wayne's World. What would you give like any women entrepreneurs advice on starting up a business? Any quick advice you can give them?
I would say that if you think you've got a good product idea, go for it. Don't think too much about it, because then you get scared. Go for it, but don't go too big. Start off small and grow slowly. Like if you think too big and you spend too much in advance, then you could lose. So just take it easy, but just start it. That's what we did. Let's just incorporate. Once we put a little money into incorporate, okay, now we got to do this. Now we got to do this, and then
we'll tell Lucy.
Yeah. And then it just evolves from there.
Once you're in so deep, it's like gambling, I guess. Right. It's so far in, I got to keep going. And
don't panic when things don't go right, because there's always a fix to something.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times where we thought, how the heck are we going to fix this? There's always a fix, because I'm a true believer, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's so true. You just research. That's what I do. I live on Google, and I've researched everything. And whatever it is, a small little thing, the most complicated little thing, you'll just little ideas from this person, the next person, then you just sort of make it your own, right?
And the other thing that I would say, I can't speak for everyone, but I think I can speak for the three of us, that having each other has been a blessing. Because we have met other entrepreneurs who are doing it on their own, like one person, and it is just so hard,
so tough,
tough. It's not even the workload; it's just the highs and the lows. You need that person,
that support group,
to bounce things off, to reassure you. Like, I'm known as the pessimist of the three, and when I go off in my little pessimistic world, I've got Lucy and her positive energy.
And what you think about, you bring about.
Yeah. So Lucy brings you back when you kind of
always. Anna too, but mostly Lucy. Yeah. Anna just usually says, "Oh, shut up! You're bringing me down."
Not quite, but okay.
I like that.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm a straight shooter, and I'll say, "Just stop it. Let's get with this."
Not shut up, but you'll say, "Would you stop it? You're so negative. Stop it."
Oh my God.
Lucy will be the one sending me, reassuring phrases.
I love flowers. You should be positive vibes everywhere.
What is it? What you think about?
What you think about, you bring about. So stop thinking negative, because then negative things will happen. Think positive.
I think this is a sign of the eldest child. Nelson, do you share that?
What the pessimistic?
Pessimistic?
The eldest child, always worried, always concerned, always.
No, see, I was like, for me, I'm kind of like let's just figure this shit out.
Yeah.
There's always a way. For me, I think my role, and I'm sure I drive the guys crazy, is just like, okay, like let's be happy but not content.
Yes.
Like let's celebrate a little bit, but let's not pat ourselves on the back too fast just yet, because we've made tons of strides.
Yeah.
But we haven't. So it's like this for me. It's like this whole bouncing back and forth where, I'll have a call. I had a call recently with a good buddy of ours who's on the show next week. And you guys know Stevie, Big Steve Johnston.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. They're great.
He was one of our mentors. We didn't mention him. Big plug for Castle Kitchens.
Yeah, so Stevie's great, and he's got his shit together. And you know, like I was talking to him. He was still in Florida. They'd gone to their condo in Florida for a while, and we were talking. And he was kind of like, you know, laying all this stuff out and what they're doing. And I got off the phone. I'm like, holy crap! Like we got so much to do still. Mm-hmm. And then like Trace and I, we just got a new dog, so we're like walking this dog like a million times a day. And it's a great time just to kind of debrief and chat, right? And she's like, no, it's like, you gotta like cut yourself some slack. Like, you guys have legitimate, at this point in time, this is like in March. And she's like, you guys have been doing this for 3 months. And in 3 months, like, we've sold, you know, we've done well online. Like we've launched online. At the time we were in, you know, call it 15 stores. We landed, you know, a national distributor through a startup program that they have. Mm-hmm.
You got to constantly challenge yourself and question yourself. So, yeah, and you know, I talk about
making yourself crazy,
but I also see that there are moments. We've had the few moments where the three of us, you know, we get on a Zoom call and we toast each other and go, okay, we hit that milestone. Okay, move along, you know. But like you said, it's a short celebration, and then what's the next step?
And there's like we're in a different space than you guys, right? We're in a super crowded space. And we just like, our whole thing is just like, let's make some really great, wholesome sauce that tastes awesome. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And you've got the branding. The branding's awesome.
Yeah, branding is
You really nailed it. We didn't nail it in the beginning. So we lost some money. Yeah. But you guys have nailed it right from the start. You've done a great job.
Thank you. Like truth like the proof will be in the pudding over time, and we're hoping that we start selling more. And you know,
it will come.
It'll come.
You should go on Dragon's Den, because I'll tell you, they'll pick four fathers. The name is awesome, and the four fathers concept.
What it represents,
I could totally see them picking you guys.
Yeah, and you know that's always been an edge for us, is the story, right? Yeah. Story really compels people to want to know more about it. And then promote it.
And the three sisters, right? It's always a learning curve. They're always picking up something.
You'll always be learning and adjusting, and that's the whole point of business. You can't just all of a sudden have this perfect thing in a year of business and think it's going to fly. You got to be on top of it. You got to be finding, you know. But I'm glad you guys all still get along together. You know, and same with us.
We almost made them fight.
Yeah, I would. Ladies, awesome chat tonight. It was fantastic, Nelson. Thanks for being involved. It was great.
It was selfish for me, so I got to see my cousins.
It's okay. This is a great way to see family, and we're in the food family business, so we're all family, and we'll hopefully see you guys very soon when this is all over, and we're all back to real life meeting up.
We'll have to go out for dinner one night.
Absolutely,
have some more vino.
Absolutely, it's all on Good Pantry. I mean. Guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Great time. Hugs and kisses to everyone. Dave, thank you,
everybody.
Bye, sisters.
Ciao.